Well, it's personal between me and you, and I'm going to do you some serious harm, you big stiff idiot.
The untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing game's been missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, let's get right into it because everybody was blowing my phone up yesterday. I saw some comments on videos that had nothing to do with the subject, but Demetrius Andrade, personal favorite here on the channel. I like Demetrius Andrade, big fan of his. Think he's one of the best fighters out there. It's not speculation anymore. It's not what he should do, what he shouldn't do. It is. And it's official news. Demetrius Andrade will, in fact, be vacating that WBO Middleweight title to move up to 168 to fight undefeated #1 contender Zach Parker for the interim title. And by winning a fight such as this in a final eliminator, this will then position Demetrius Andrade to become the mandatory challenger for the WBO super middleweight champion, which at this moment in time is Canelo Alvarez. So, make of that what you will. But let's talk about it, because I hear a lot of people, like the Andrade detractors, have never been louder than they are now. But a lot of people are saying Demetrius Andrade is ducking Janibek Alimkhanuly. And you know what? It's up for interpretation. Honestly, it really is. Personally, look, I've wanted to see the Janibek Alimkhanuly fight for well over at least a year. That fight's been on my radar for Andrade for the last 12 to 18 months. But for most people, this fight is only something that they want to see because they believe Janibek is the guy to beat Andrade. When in all reality, most people don't even like Janibek. They just hate Andrade, and this is the guy that they're rallying around. And I like Janibek, but look, let's just be real. Let's remove our emotions and let's remove our feelings, because I think it'd be very easy if you like Andrade to have your feelings involved, and if you don't like Andrade to have your feelings involved. Either way, either side of the spectrum, you're gonna have your feelings involved. If you're a man, you gotta really try to keep your feelings in check and stay centered as possible. So, you mean to tell me? So let me get this straight. So I remember very clearly when Andrade was gonna fight, when it looked like Andrade was gonna fight Janibek Alimkhanuly, a lot of people were telling me, well, BT, if he really wanted to fight Canelo, he should go to 168 and become the mandatory, right? And then they would say, oh, well, he's showing he doesn't want to fight Canelo, and it's all bullshit, right? Now he's taking the step to actually do that. He's actually taking the step to try and do that, and now you're saying he's ducking Janibek? But in all reality, most people just found out who Janibek was. When I say most people, I mean most of the boxing world that are making these claims. Most of y'all just found out who Janibek was when he fought on the Terrence Crawford-Sean Porter undercard against the old, faded corpse of Hassan Mandam. And that was the fight that made you think he could beat Demetrius Andrade, because you never watched Janibek before Hassan Mandam. And it's funny because I've been following Janibek for 3 years. And if anything, that was one of the worst that was one of his least impressive performances of his career. He still won. He did his thing. He stopped him in 8 rounds. But it wasn't the Janibek that got me excited about him. You know what I'm saying? So it kind of gave me more confidence that Andrade could beat him. And I know from talking to people on his team, his dad was telling me if they fought, they would jab the hell out of Janibek. But listen, I truthfully think it's one of those situations where you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. Janibek is a good fighter. I believe Janibek has all the ingredients to become world champion, and I think he will in time. But the reality is, at this juncture, at this moment in time, Janibek is an 11-0 fighter. An 11-0 fighter. And by beating Janibek Alimkhanuly, it doesn't give Demetrius Andrade anything as far as, getting those big fights. And you guys can say, well, he's wasted his career. He's done this, that, and the third. He doesn't deserve a big fight. But he's trying to get those big fights. And every time he tries to get those big fights, you guys say, oh, well, what has he done to deserve the fight? Well, he's actually trying to position himself to fight a big fight. And he wouldn't have to try and position himself to fight a big fight if the big names just came out and fought him. So if Charlo found the balls that he has in Al Haymon's purse and fought Andrade, he wouldn't have to go to 168. If Golovkin wasn't in winter protection, he wouldn't have to go to 168. If the guys that had names that are going to bring him that prestige and the honor in the middleweight division actually fought him, he wouldn't have to do that. And you guys can sit here, and I like Janibek, so I'm not talking down on Janibek, so don't take it as that. But Janibek is 11-0. Most people don't even know him. When I interviewed Eddie Hearn in Vegas at the Devin Haney-Jojo Diaz press conference, Eddie Hearn couldn't even pronounce his name. Most people don't know who he is in boxing. And that's just the reality of it. So right now, because he's not fighting him, you guys are going to prop Janibek up. But if you were to fight him and beat him, you would just say, you would then do what you did with Liam Williams. Because I remember very clearly when Andrade was going to fight Liam Williams, that was viewed as a tough mandatory. And he beat his tough mandatory very, very easily. Now, you guys like to cherry pick a couple moments of the fight and say, oh, well, he got hurt and he got buzzed. But fuck it, it's a fight. You're supposed to get hurt and get buzzed at some point. Floyd got hurt and buzzed. Plenty of great fighters got hurt and buzzed. Ryan Lander got hurt and buzzed. Roberto Duran got fucking knocked out cold against Tommy Hearns. Fighters of every generation, no matter how good or bad they are, have all been buzzed, hurt, stopped. It's a fight. So he didn't lose, and he wasn't competitive. It wasn't like a close fight as far as if you scoring it round by round. So people wanted to cherry pick one or two moments in the fight and use that against him. And then they want to shit on Liam Williams. But before he fought Liam Williams, I remember a lot of the people, a lot of the British fans, they were saying, well, this is a tough fight for Andrade. So I hate to say it, but I'm being honest. I look at Janibek, not him as far as his skills and his talent, but I look at like how the perception is going into the fight and how I believe fans would have treated Janibek and the win the same as Liam Williams, because people still are not giving him his credit for beating Liam Williams. They're downing Williams. They're just cherry picking a couple moments from the fight, when in all reality it was not a competitive fight. So I say all that to say this: as far as the Zach Parker fight, I went back like 2 nights ago. And I went back and I rewatched a little bit of Zach Parker, because I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm a Zach Parker expert. The only fight I'd ever watched of his live was when he fought Rohan Murdoch. And that was actually the fight that I believe got him to the position he's in now. Because he's been number one contender at the WBO for since March 2020. So I went back and I rewatched the Murdoch fight. And then there was a fight he had against somebody else who I can't remember right now. I think it was on Frank Warren, because when he fought Murdoch, it was Eddie Hearn. And then one of his more recent fights, he fought on the Frank Warren show. And I saw, from what I watched, I saw some improvement in Zach Parker. I saw a guy that was going to the body pretty good, tall, rangy, lanky. You know, this fight, I wouldn't write off Zach Parker. I think this fight could be a fight for Andrade, which could be a little problematic in the early stages, because Parker, you know, as far as size goes, I mean, you gotta look at it from a boxing standpoint. Andrade's, one of his advantages physically is that he's always been tall and longer and rangier than his opponents. And now that he's at 68, it's not going to really be the case. So, you know, we'll see what happens. But look, let's just say Demetrius Andrade fights Zach Parker. If he fights Zach Parker and he gets the win over Zach Parker, let's say Canelo Alvarez does what everybody thinks he's going to do, which is vacate the belts and go to 175, right? Or whatever weight class. That's not middleweight. He's still in a better division. Like y'all don't understand. Even if he vacates the belt, Canelo, I'm talking about Canelo. If he vacates the belt, 168 is a significantly better division than the 160 division. The 160 division is one of the thinnest, worst weight classes in boxing. I told you guys this already. It's the same weight class that had Sergio Martinez ranked number 4 in the WBA. It's also the same weight class that now has Jason Rosario ranked in the top 15, when Jason Rosario just moved up to 160 and fought some guy in the Dominican Republic. So it's a very thin weight class. There's not a whole lot of viable fights out there for Andrade outside from the champions. Maybe like 2 or 3 that aren't champions that are decent fights. But you know, when we talk about apart from Canelo, on 168 you got the guys like Plant, Benavidez, David Morrell, a lot of guys. Just I'm drawing a blank, but those are the guys that come to mind. It's a better weight class as far as depth is concerned. So even if Canelo isn't there, there's still going to be options for him there if he can get past Zach Parker. But like, one thing I want to stop doing this year too as well in boxing is I want to stop saying so easily that guy's ducking other guys. You guys can't say that he's ducking Janibek when in all reality most of you just found out who Janibek was within the last 2 to 3 months. So don't tell me that he's ducking Janibek, because I remember when I would go on lives and this was a matchup between Demetrius and Janibek that I would suggest, you guys didn't care. You guys didn't think it was a viable fight. You guys would just bat your eyes at it. Now all of a sudden Janibek is a killer. So look, it's unfortunate the fight couldn't happen. I personally wanted to see the Janibek fight happen, because I think it would have been great to see Demetrius Andrade beat him, and then you guys would have tried to shit on Janibek and demean him, because the reality is this: boxing fans, like most boxing fans, I'm talking about in this little space, in this little bubble of YouTube, a lot of boxing fans, you guys are not really boxing fans. You guys are fanboys. You guys are dick riders. Honestly, I hate saying it like that, but it's the truth. The reality is there isn't much to gain from beating Janibek other than the fans' respect, or certain fans' respect. In our reality, that doesn't count for much at the end of the day. It really doesn't. And I hate saying it like that way, but it's the truth. So Zach Parker versus Demetrius Andrade, it'll be for a final eliminator in the WBO. Winner of that fight becomes WBO mandatory, which at this particular moment of time, which I'm shooting this video, Canelo Alvarez is WBO champion. So, you know, we'll see what happens. But that's the news. We'll definitely be talking more about that as the fight draws closer, or as things develop and details come out and people start running their mouths. You know, we'll be here for all of it on True School Sports. But yeah, do me a favor, leave your comments down below. What do you guys think about Demetrius Andrade vacating the belt at 160 to go to 68? Is it ducking, or is it Andrade actually just doing what's best for his career? Because look, personally for me, I think the Janibek fight is a good fight. I'm not down. Again, I want to make it a point to say that I'm not downing Janibek. I like Janibek. I wanted to see the fight, but I understand why he's going up to 68, and it's not because he's scared of Janibek. It's because what else is there for him to do? Middleweight. What? He fights Janibek. He beats him, and then what? And then what? What is he gonna get a fight with a champion? No. Is he gonna get a legacy career-defining fight? No. So look, Andrade's at a point in his career where he can ill afford to waste any more time. He's got to go and put himself in a position to get those big fights, because the reality is the only way he will ever get a big fight is if he positions himself. Because if you leave it up to the guys who have the belts, who have the names, who have the prestige, who have the honor, if you leave it up to them and leave the choice to them, they're not going to fight him. They're going to do what they've always done, which is run and run and run and run. I mean, and I'll leave it at, my closing statement is this. Going back to Canelo, I was there. I saw Canelo. Canelo saw me. He was in my presence here in South Florida at the Hard Rock. And I asked him, in plain English, I asked him the one question that none of your favorite channels will ask. I asked the one question that none of your favorite YouTube channels have the balls to ask, which is, when are you going to fight Demetrius Andrade? He didn't tell me when. He didn't give me a timeline. He just simply said, he's a fucking horrible fighter. And that was it. So, you know, make of that what you will. At some point in time, I feel like fans got to hold everyone in boxing accountable. Like, everyone in boxing got to be held accountable. He's only in this position. Andrade is only in this position in the first place because, of course, first of all, I do got to play some blame on him. He made some bad business moves way back in his career. But he rectified that situation when he signed with Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn has kept him active. He gets credit for that. But Eddie Hearn has not been able to secure in the big fights, because the guys that are looked at to be the big fights for Andrade, like Jermall Charlo, don't have the balls or self-belief to fight him. Golovkin doesn't want to fight anybody, let alone Andrade. Murata doesn't want to fight Andrade. All the guys at 160 who have belts, who could give Andrade that big profile, those big meaningful fights, they don't want to fight him. Janibek, I like Janibek. I'm going to keep saying I like Janibek. I'm going to root for him, because now apparently he's going to fight Falcao, and I'll do a video on that. But Janibek is not going to do much for Andrade in terms of, you know, getting him to where he would like to be. And it's unfortunate, because I did want to see that fight. I wanted to see him beat Janibek just to shut a lot of you guys up. But it is what it is. He'll fight Zach Parker. I think the Zach Parker fight will be tougher than people think. I think he'll find a way to beat Zach Parker. And when Zach Parker has his little moments, people are going to do what they did with that fight, what they did with Liam Williams. They're going to take a clip or two or three, couple moments from the fight, and they're going to use it to discredit whatever performance, whichever way Andrade wins. But, you know, listen, you can't win with boxing fans, but the good thing is Demetrius Andrade wins no matter who he fights. So, you know, looking forward to seeing what happens next with his career. But listen, I've been rambling for 15 minutes because I had to get my thoughts out there on this. But you guys, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Just let me know. Is he ducking Janibek or is he not ducking Janibek? Leave your comments down below. Make sure you guys take the time to subscribe. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me. But I'm just a kid from Didnt. So until next time, take care, guys. Thank you for watching another video on True School Sports, the home of boxing. If you made it this far, do me a favor and do yourself a damn favor. Hit that subscribe button and surely you will not be disappointed. You know, True School Sports bringing you the latest and greatest, the untouchable, you know, boxing content, interviews, news videos, breakdowns, live fight reaction extravaganza. We've got a great community of people here, boxing fans all over the world, from America to the UK to Australia and on and on and on. So join the empire today. Hit that subscribe button. Take care and God bless.